Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
The earth is in the process of transformation. A separation, such as when a cell divides. Half will remain in the third dimension, the old earth, where there is conflict and violence. The other half will ascend to the fifth dimension, the new earth, where no negativity can exist. All across the world, there are internet content creators that are sharing new information to raise your consciousness and prepare you to ascend to the new earth. Join me, Naima Latif, every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Time, and we will introduce to you these voices of enlightenment. Grand Rising, and thank you all for joining us for this Wednesday edition of The Female Solution, when we introduce to you voices of enlightenment. Those individuals who are, in fact, with the work that they're doing, transforming the world that we live in. Today, we're going to talk to you about someone we've mentioned before who has simply transformed the world with his work as a peace advocate. Man He Lee, a Vietnam War veteran, realized the devastation of war and decided to use his will, his energy, his insight, and create a global organization with chapters all over the world in other countries, and basically appealing to those individuals whose hearts recognize that we must make a change. He organized monthly dialogues between religious leaders, believing that if we could just get to the essence of our belief system of love, peace, harmony, and cooperation, we can then end the division between humanity, between nations of people, between races of people, between cultures. And we can create the world of peace that we desire to live in. Well, Chairman Man He Lee has traveled across the world, meeting with global leaders, meeting with the United Nations, and creating a connection between many of those whose hearts are desiring peace and are willing to come together and hash out the steps to creating a new society. He has introduced a document, the DCPW, the Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War, as a legal document to be adopted by all nations, which would give guidelines for how we interact. And if we follow those guidelines, we can end war and we can cooperate among ourselves as nations, and we can bring the economic stability and equality that makes it possible for us to get along together because we're all sharing. This, of course, is the philosophy we've been speaking of for the last several years on this show, and certainly the spirit with which all of our hosts bring to their shows. And so when we see someone who is an enlightened being, who is manifesting that which all of us in our hearts know we must arrive to, we want to not only highlight them, but promote what they are successfully doing so that it becomes a way of life. We're Chairman Man He Lee, who created the organization Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, HWPL, is experiencing a challenge in his home country of South Korea. And he's being detained. Nice, polite way of saying jailed. He's been detained in a detention center, accused of having influence in elections. Well, of course, his whole advocacy is one of peace. He's not a politician in the sense of running for office, but sometimes people who, by their mere presence, can inspire others. And we realize his inspiration is what the world needs. So this 95-year-old man is being detained, and his work is being disrupted. And so we're reaching out to the global community today to ask for your help in urging the government to allow this peace advocate to continue to freely help support that which would lift up all humanity. So joining us today are members of the organization that he founded. And we want to welcome them to the show to give us insight on how we may support this effort in having the release of Chairman Man-Hee Lee. So let me welcome HWPL Spokesperson Brian Chitambira. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Naima. It's good to see you this morning. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us. And also joining us is the Chicago director of HWPL. And Albert, we appreciate you for joining us as well. And thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Voices of Enlightenment.
So, thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate you very much for joining us. And we also appreciate the fact that you have been very diligent in spreading the work of Chairman Man-Hee Lee and all of those peace advocates from around the world. So first, let's get a view of exactly what happened and why it is that people should care about what's happening halfway across the world. So, Brian, can you give us a bit of insight about how we're all connected and why this is important?
All right. So thank you so much for allowing us to have this opportunity to share about such a lovely man and the work that he is doing. And so, yes, as you've mentioned, and thank you so much for the lovely introduction to HWPL. I feel like, everything was said. So, yes, HWPL, it was something that the Chairman Lee, he started this after himself having survived from a very brutal war. And so he's actually experienced multiple wars. And the one that really changed his life the most was the Korean War, a war in which he saw his own country get split in half as a result of. And ever since then, it's been something that has been burning on his heart that actually, why should people of the same family, people of the same country be split? And so through this, he was able to start HWPL, and it's grown since 2013. It's grown to become an international organization. And I was able to actually be introduced to Chairman Lee through HWPL and was able to participate in its programs. And so one of the situations that is currently happening is that, as been mentioned, he's being detained, right? Very friendly way of saying jailed. And so what happened? Regarding this situation in Korea, as we may have known, there's been recent let's just say, a very controversial president prior to the current one right now. And he actually called for martial law, and it was very unprecedented things that he was doing in our time today. And so after such a very tense moment that Korea went through, the new president definitely came in with the mindset to clean up the mess. And so one of the things that has been happening right now is that religious leaders and any leaders with a powerful voice in the Conservative Party, which is the opposing party, are being targeted. So where does Chairman Lee play in all this? So he's the chairman actually of two organizations. So the one that we know each other through is HWPL, but he's also a pastor, a religious leader in Korea, and he's part of the church called Shincheonji. And so what he's being accused of right now, or what he's been indicted of right now, is of coercing about 50,000 people to vote or to join a certain political party. And so, investigation has been taking place since January. And, HWPL, Shincheonji, we're not against investigation at all. Actually, up until now, the chairman Lee himself, a man of peace through and through, actually said cooperate. All right, whatever they ask for, just give them. If they ask you to come and get investigated, go and get investigated. And so up until now, it's called the Joint Investigation Headquarters that was formed just for this work. They were able to gather together, and they've been investigating this case since January. Now, what is happening is the unfortunate scenario where we're starting to see a pattern of a bit of unjust judgments being made. And so the chairman, he's been a man dedicated to the work of peace. He's been a man who truly loves Korea, his country. However, despite being the advanced age of 96 or 95, depends on the calendar. There's the lunar calendar, which is like +1 of the calendar, the solar calendar we use. So you might hear 95, 96. So he's 96 this year. And despite that kind of situation, they still went ahead and said, this person is a threat enough to the point that he needs to be put in a detention center. And to this end, HWPL and Shincheonji, and actually a couple of voices overseas are starting to sound the alarm that this is actually not fair. This is even violating international law. There's these rules in the UN. They're known collectively in a more simple way as the Mandela laws. And even in Europe, there's the law amongst the people that someone over 80 should not be detained, except for truly extreme cases where either it's a violent crime, so there's the threat of violence, or a situation where the person is seen to be a really extreme threat in that kind of scenario. What is the situation here? The chairman is being detained for something electoral. Not violent, no protests were called for this work or anything. The second is that in media, he's not being portrayed as someone under investigation, but as if someone was already guilty. And there's been some concerning remarks made even by politicians that have been made as if they've already made a decision. And regardless of Shincheonji's appeal to reconsider the detainment, considering the chairman's advanced age, this has also been denied. And so what we're seeing here, it's not so much that there's a corrupt case or anything like that. What we're seeing is just the ignorance or the willful ignorance of international law. We're seeing lack of care for the human rights of a person here, especially someone who's dedicated so much to Korea. So why does this matter here in the United States, right? We're in Chicago. I'm in Chicago, and Albert is in Chicago. Why does that matter for everyone over here? It's not so much that this is an issue of, we have to get in Korea and tell the judicial system how to work. But actually what we want to do is, as people of a global village who all want to have the same human rights exercised upon us, if we see someone who's got their rights being violated, at least we have the responsibility to speak out. That's the very least we can do. And we can at least also petition so that this person's human rights are taken care of. In this case, this is someone very influential. As you can see, thank you so much for actually showing these images. This is the work of peace that the chairman has done, even in the Philippines. He has gone around the world 32 times. He has actually advocated for peace multiple times. And there was a huge conflict in Mindanao between the Muslim and Christian population there. And he actually brokered a peace deal that stopped a 40-year-long conflict. And here you can see some peace monuments that have even been erected in that area where there used to be violence on a daily basis. This is the kind of person that we're talking about. A person of this kind of influence is being unfairly detained. So we're asking the global village, we're asking, especially here in America, America is the leading country, right? That's how it's seen in the world, that we should actually be people of influence at this time and peace advocates at this time to also speak out when injustice is taking place. And so myself and Albert here, we're gathering petitions. We're requesting from organization leaders. We're requesting from community leaders. We're requesting from religious leaders. We're requesting from anyone and everyone. We're asking for petitions that have been prepared to show support that we are okay with the investigation. We respect the judicial system, but we're currently asking, please, please, please reconsider this detainment issue. He is 96 years old. What do you have to gain from locking up a 96-year-old? Please reconsider and at least allow him to be even house arrest is better than being detained in a solitary prison, kind of like atmosphere at 96 years old. So this is what we're asking the global village. And I'm not so sure, maybe Brother Albert, if you want to add anything, if I missed anything.
Well, before we get to that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Albert, perhaps you can give us some insight, specifically some of the things that have been done in the United States that HWPL has been instrumental in, and even some of the things in the Chicago community. And of course, we are speaking to a global audience, and many people are experiencing some of the same issues that HWPL tackles. But certainly, we all stand to gain when we can end conflict everywhere. So that's the important work that HWPL is doing. But we'll let you elaborate more on that. Albert, you introduce yourself and all of your great work that you do, and we will be right back to hear that right after this quick break. And we want you to like and share this on Facebook, and of course, share it on YouTube. Share it with all your friends and family, because we want you to be a part of this global movement for peace. And we will be right back after this quick break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We're going to greet our global family listening from all around the world, and we'll be right back.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Zdravstvutie. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes, we do want to talk to you, and we want you to talk to us too. I'm Naima Latif, and today we are talking to two of the representatives from the Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light organization, HWPL. And isn't that what we all want? A heavenly culture World Peace and Restoration of Light. Such an appropriate title for this organization. So, Albert, introduce yourself to our audience and tell us what you do as the Chicago director.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. So I hope everybody is having a great morning so far. My name is Albert Correa. I am the branch director for HWPL Chicago. So just to tell you a little bit about HWPL, basically the summary is HWPL is a non-governmental organization that's registered with the Seoul Metropolitan Government in the Republic of Korea. It is associated with the UN Department of Global Communications, and our aim is to achieve world peace through the heavenly culture and restore the global community with light. And we are carrying out peace activities all across the world. So you may ask yourself, okay, what are these peace activities that are being carried out? The peace initiative that is being pushed at this time through HWPL, there's three main things, okay? So one is the Law for Peace. Second is the Alliance of Religions. And thirdly is peace education. So if you want to know more about the Law for Peace, HWPL is pushing for 10 articles and 38 clauses to work through international law to prevent war. So we may think that these things are very far out of reach for us. We may think that there's like a world that's really not like, oh, no, can peace really be achieved? The answer is yes. Because if you ask yourself, what is it that I want? Nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants to send their children to die in wars. Nobody wants themselves to die in wars. I myself am also a veteran from the United States Army. So I've also been deployed. I've also seen firsthand the dangers and the causes and the negative effects of war. So as a veteran, I seen these things, and this is a big part of why I chose to join HWPL and why I'm working with HWPL to push these peace initiatives. So if you see here, HWPL proclaimed the Declaration of Peace and the Cessation of War. And we're working through these 10 to push these 10 articles and 38 clauses through the international law. Okay. So the next initiative for peace is the Alliance of Religions. Okay. There's a lot of maybe hatred that we have with one another, maybe some clashing that different ethnicities have, or through even different religions as well. But in everything that we do, we have to remember, what is it that we truly want? We want to have a world where we can unite in peace. And when you get really to talk to everyone, nobody wants to fight. Everybody wants to seek peace. So then how do we push a peace initiative through the Alliance of Religions? Well, what's the most peaceful thing that we can do? We can gather and we can talk. We can gather, we can talk, and let's talk it out. Let's be friends. So that is what the peace initiative through the Alliance of Religions does. So what we do is that we gather, and sometimes once a month or every other month. And Dr. Naima, you've also gathered with us a few times and experience these interfaith dialogues. And it's through dialogue that we will be able to see, hey, how much are we resembling one another through our faith? And isn't it better to unite as one than to be separated? Let us not be those who are separated, but those who can unite and then be stronger. Through what? Through dialogue, through talking, and through peace. That is how we can establish peace. And also, lastly, through peace education. Peace education is how can we be better citizens of the earth, right? So peace education is an initiative that is pushed for actually all ages. It's not just for children, but it's for all ages to learn how to spread the culture of peace through the heavenly culture. How can we exist on this earth with one another? How can we be those who understand one another? Through these peace educations, we'll be able to understand these things. It's a very awesome thing to be able to see and to be a part of, because through so much violence that's going on in this world, you see it on the news, all of these dangerous things that are happening, you know, violence, gang violence, gun violence, right? We have these teen takeovers nowadays, right? Well, it's because we're not being properly educated. So, how can we be properly educated is to focus on what we need in this world. And what do we need? We actually need a heavenly culture of peace, one where we can exist with one another, understand one another, and be united with one another. The more united that we are, then the stronger that we will be in the end. So this is just in summary of some things that HWPL does. Those are the main initiatives that we push. And if you have any questions, then please feel free to go to the website, look for it for yourselves. Also, we'll be sharing our email account and phone number. So if you would like to be a part of that peace initiative push, then please feel free to contact us at any time. Okay. With that being said, I think this concludes my summary of HWPL. Do you have any questions or any of the sort? Mm-hmm.
Well, we thank you so much for an excellent presentation. And of course, we've got some comments here. And Cheryl Jones, thanks so much for joining us. Actually, Cheryl was my first contact with HWPL. I can't remember how we met, but I remember first we met over the phone because I think I'd heard some things about HWPL and I was curious. And then she invited me to a meeting and I've been active ever since. This was several years ago. And she says, we need peace. Yes, we do. And the exciting thing that I have witnessed, I've had an opportunity to travel to South Korea, I think in attending 3 different peace conferences. And it just so happened my daughter was living in South Korea. She taught there in school for about 5-6 years. And so I had a chance to visit her while attending the global peace conferences. But like I was mentioning when we were at Push the other day, explaining to them the global initiative of HWPL, I was shocked that this international convention, this international gathering was happening, the annual global peace conferences with all of these delegates from around the world, and media was there from around the world. I was shocked that Americans were so non-involved in terms of what I guess you'd say the larger corporate media, that here we can cover every awful thing going on, all the bombs and the killings and the wars, but where are our cameras when the world is gathering for peace and people are advocating peace and people are supporting peace? Where are the cameras then? They can show us children getting blown up and schools getting bombed. They can show us all the things to enrage us, but can they show us when we're actually winning the war for peace? We're actually winning the hearts of people. So this is why we do this show and our hosts do the shows that they do, because we've got to change the trajectory of people's expectations to see that the side for peace is in fact the stronger side, is the dominant side, is the winning side. So we can be more encouraged and we can see the triumph that's happening. So something like the DCPW, there's an actual document that people have been signing and supporting and advocating. and urging their elected officials to support, because it's going to lead to a standard that we're all agreeing as a global community to follow in terms of the way we interact. And so these are the kinds of things responsible media is letting people know, so that we know that there are things that can be supported that can change this current climate of war. And this is why it's so critical, the work that you all are doing to get the word out, so that we can change the perception of what's happening across the world. People are organizing for peace and they're winning. So we thank you for the work you're doing. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, I'd like to take a look at some of the work that the youth are doing. You mentioned some of the distressing things, but what are some of the things that youth are doing under the inspiration of HWPL to actually change the society? We'll talk about that when we come back. You are watching Voices of Enlightenment on the Female Solution, and we want you to speak out to free global peace leader Chairman Man-Hee Lee, whose work is making an impact on our world. And we will be right back after this last break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. So stay with us.
Have you seen all the solar farms popping up everywhere? You know, the big fields with the solar panels. There's one in our community. They produce electricity using the clean energy of the sun to send to the power grid to reduce our energy costs. Because not everybody can get solar panels put on their roof the way I have, but everybody can enroll for free to share the energy produced by the solar farms. That's why they were built. You know you're supposed to be getting a 10 to 20% savings on your bill for that, right? Illinois has a goal to transition by 2050 to 100% clean energy. So everybody needs to be connected. People in other communities are already getting their savings. So I'll be by to see you, because they want to make sure you get your savings as well. It just takes a few minutes. I'm Naima Latif. Call me if you have any questions. 312-849-3456.
Welcome to Master Force with Mushim Soot. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page, as we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force. Our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending.
Yes, we are ascending. We are evolving into a society that is civilized. And we want to encourage those who are advocates of peace to join us in that ascension process. So we thank both of you all for lending your voice and your energy to what really is a spiritual revolution happening on the planet right now. We are choosing to create a heavenly culture, world peace, and restoration of light. So tell us of some of the activities that the youth have been involved in. We know that there is a youth component of HWPL and young people. I was again amazed when I went to the HWPL Global Peace Conference, and I was told that the people who volunteer their time for that week of activities, you know, before the weekend and all of that, they volunteer. And each time I went, in the 3 conferences I've went, I've had a very dedicated assistant that would help me get to where I was going and all of that. And I'm told that they volunteer their time. Many of them young people, many of them are, maybe fresh out of college, young professionals, but they spend their time to work to make sure that peace conference is successful. And I was just amazed at the dedication of a literal army of volunteers that kept everything so organized. So what kind of things are HWPL doing to inspire youth and involve youth and even teach youth so that they present a whole different picture of young people and the work that they're doing? So Brian, you want to take that one? And then Albert add to that?
Yes, thank you so much. So this is actually something I'm very excited for because I myself too was introduced to HWPL in my youth as well. And so, HWPL, it's got, as you can see actually in our background here, there's the logo with the peace bird, right? And it's got two wings, as any bird should. But actually, HWPL has two wings as well, two side branch organizations that it works with. One of them is called IPYG. And IPYG stands for International Peace Youth Group. And so concerning what the youth can be involved in and what we have tried to actually implement here in Chicago, the first you're actually very familiar with, Naima, is peace education. That's actually kind of like the cherry on top of all the peace work that has taken place within HWPL is that word culture, right? And culture is a very hard word to define. But if we were to think about it in one way, it's the learned and passed down traditions that go from generation to generation that actually dictate the norms of life. Then, how can we influence the culture? How can we change the actual culture of a community or even of a country to be one of peace? It actually starts with the youth. Because the youth are the future generation. There's the saying in the world, right? You cannot teach an older dog new tricks. And so there is truth to that. So what can you teach? You can teach a puppy new tricks, right? And so one of the main things we've actually done in Chicago right now is through peace education. And so right now, because in Chicago, our branch is actually still pretty small compared to other locations in the United States, we're actually starting off by targeting schools and educators and teachers to actually introduce this curriculum of peace education so that they can actually introduce it to their school and they can teach it to the youth. One of the case examples we have, I think you've actually met her. I think you were in Korea with her actually at the same time, Dr. Lynn Mohammed.
Yes.
So she started peace education together with you, right?
Yeah.
And she took that curriculum and she actually taught it to her youth group, and they were able to come up with activities and so forth from that peace education. And I was able to participate in some of their activities that they actually had. They had a kind of like a graduation class where they actually made robots and they had to create a narrative of peace. And so the parents who were there, I remember hearing their impacts like, wow, this is what I want my child to be doing. And so, right now, the unfortunate situation we've seen in Chicago is that there's very varying levels of education and very varying levels of accountability that are given to our youth. And so we have ourselves even, unfortunately, I'm an immigrant actually, but even whilst overseas, Chicago was like the unsafe city because that's where the gangs were and so forth. But then you look in these gangs, it's not like elderly people, ancient people, old dogs, so to say. It's actually the young ones who are keeping the gangs going, who are keeping those things going. And so to stop this, we have to actually teach that peace should be the norm, not violence, kind of like what Albert said. And so in Chicago right now, the two main initiatives we have that are active and that we're working to develop and grow is first the peace education side, and the second one is actually the peace walk. And so the peace walk is held annually on May 25th, which is also the day that HWPL was founded. And this peace walk is an opportunity to hear about the work of peace, unite together, and actually walk a designated route in Chicago or Chicagoland area, and shouting the voice for peace and getting petitions for the work of peace. Additionally, overseas and in other branches, our Atlanta branch is very active actually with youth groups and youth peace activities. They have peace concerts. in the parks. And you mentioned that America, where were you, when all these things are happening in Korea? And I was actually very excited to see that I saw a county or a government official from the Atlanta region, from one of their counties. He actually went to this last year's HWPL conference, and he actually spoke on the impact that HWPL is starting to have on the youth, even in Atlanta as well. And so what it started off with were those programs. So volunteer programs, peace programs. These are the things that we're still developing here in Chicago. And what we've been able to at least do up until now is peace education. And what we've also been able to invite many youth to is the peace walk. And so those are the two things that are happening in Chicago at the moment. Yes, I don't know if I missed anything.
Yes, well, Albert, you can chime in with some of the things that you recall. And, I'm seeing these images from young people, again, all over the world, but certainly we have had some great gatherings here in America as well, in Chicago. I participated in the peace walks, and I think they were instrumental in reminding people that there is, in fact, a movement that young people are involved with and are enthusiastically helping to organize. So if we continue to show the images of young people doing positive things, then I believe we will change much of the attitude that has unfortunately become dominant, and young people are seen as the enemy as opposed to the future that they are, and the opportunity that they represent of us really transforming this world. We just need to inspire them. That's all, because they have the energy. And I've seen them involved in the peace walks, in organizing, in enthusiastically spreading the message. And I know Dr. Lynn Muhammad was very pleased with the outcome of her presenting the peace education program, because it's a different way of presenting information. It gives young people a purpose for learning. It's not just learning dates and facts and figures. It's learning principles of living, and that's what young people respond to. So Albert, you of course, you are a young man who is probably attracting many young people because of your youthful appearance, both of you, obviously. I'm a seasoned citizen. Hopefully I don't look as seasoned as I am, but but both of you all appeal to a youthful clientele, a youthful audience. What are some of the challenges that the Chicago office has faced and overcome in attracting and engaging young people in this effort?
Mm-hmm. But thank you for the compliment, by the way. We're glad to see you doing something right. But yeah, so so I mean, with any push, with any initiative, there's always going to be challenges, right? So the main challenges that we're having is just making sure that people are aware of everything that's going on, making people aware of what this fight for peace is doing, and what can you do to be a part of it. So no matter whether you're Chicago or out of Chicago, the biggest challenge is always going to be getting the word out there. So what we would like to do more is to get as many people as we can to really share this work of peace, and to be able to be a part of the movement. So I think the things that we're doing now, especially here today, is really helping in that effort. We do a lot of things such as like peace walks. We do like peace letters. There's so many activities to be done. And as we are doing these activities, we are actually gaining more and more support, especially from the youth. Just as you said, they have so much energy. So, there's so many things that they can direct that energy to. And when they do that, then, it really, it's really amazing thing to see. Right. So, what can the community do in order to basically help us out, right? Help us out to be able to spread this culture of peace, is to to understand that there are peace movements that are happening, especially within HWPL. And one thing I would like to add here is, Naima, you spoke about being able to go to Korea, being part of these conferences, and being able to see so much of what is going on. I think that once people see for themselves what is going on, then they'll be flabbergasted. They wouldn't even know what to say. Then it's really like a very touching thing. Some people even cry when they see how many people are gathering together for the name of peace. And so, actually, and if you would like, I can give you the more info. Actually, because now that you mention it, there is a conference that is also coming up for the youth. So if you are a youth leader in the age of 40 years and younger, then there is going to be an event in South Korea for September. And if you are interested in that, then please feel free to contact us and be able to speak with us on how that can actually happen. So if you can get to Korea, then by all means, let us know, and then we'll be able to talk about how to be a part of that event that will be coming up as well.
And what are the dates of that event?
It's going to be September, and the dates are going to be from the 16th to the 18th. Okay, so that be pretty much that whole week. If you could get to Korea, then that would be great.
Now, is it?
Mm-hmm. I see, Miss Naima, you're lagging a little bit, so I'll speak just a little bit more.
Everyone talks about peace, but how many actually build it? When youth learn about peace, peace becomes reality. Peace Hub, where young leaders from around the world connect and learn across borders, cultures, and languages. 6,000 plus leaders from 63 nations. The numbers show the impact. Not just learning, becoming. From AI to global working groups, tailored content empowers youth to grow as peace leaders. The 2026 YEPC, now in its 6th year, is designed to be a hands-on learning journey, where young people create and experience peace and learn how to pass it on to the next generation. Beyond theory, YEPC offers field-based learning and in-person exchange programs. Continue the journey in Korea. Now, it's your turn to take part. We learn, we act, we become the living heritage. See you at YEPC 6.
Okay, there we are. Yes. Okay, were y'all able to hear that okay?
Yes.
Good. Yes, so young people are thriving in HWPL, and you might want to start looking at the airline fees for tickets to South Korea. And we've got a few more comments here. Let's see. And Cheryl says, how can an organization partner with you to implement peace education? Your organization is truly amazing. Yes, it is. So now that we're going to take one last break, and when we come back, we'll talk about developing partnerships with other organizations who have that same agenda. What are some of the things that they can do to partner with HWPL and move this peace agenda along? So many of us want to see it. So if we all work together, we can make it happen. So we will be right back after this last break, and we want you all to simply stay with us.
Peace and love. I'm Michelle Renee, host of Education Nation, live on the Female Solution Global Network every second and fourth Sunday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. The intention of Education Nation is to raise awareness about the literacy crisis and to offer information to combat the problem. The goal is to awaken an army of reading coaches and mentors. You will experience guests who are doing their part in the community to ensure youth in their circles are reading and thinking critically. I look forward to serving you in this capacity. Literacy is freedom, and Education Nation will offer information and strategies to help ensure our young people stay free.
Okay, we're back. Figured I'd show you all our third Saturday hosts move around with Deborah in case you want to work with her and get that ticket to South Korea. And of course, our host Michelle on Sundays with Education Nation, you know, showing how important it is that we need to support our youth and teach them and prepare them to take over this world, because that's what they're going to do. So we have many who are, I guess, philosophically in line with the mission of HWPL. How can organizations join your effort, partner with you, and what are some of the ways they can help accentuate and spread what you're doing?
So I can share about this one. And what an amazing question, actually. So HWPL, how do we partner with other organizations? So there is one of two documents that can be signed, but they both serve the same purpose, MOU or an MOA. It's a Memorandum of Understanding or Memorandum of Agreement. And so this is a document that will be drafted. And as mentioned actually earlier, so there's three main initiatives that HWPL does. So there's the peace law, which is the DPCW. So of course, if you're a lawyer and you work in the judicial field, that's actually really great, because then you can advocate for this peace law together. There's actually a petition that has already been started and is ongoing to get signatures showing support for the peace law. There's also the World Alliance for Religions, the dialogues. And so in this regard, through signing MOUs or MOAs, we can participate in interfaith dialogues together, promoting them together, sharing about each other's events as well. And through this, we're able to gather various religious leaders. It was cited a while back, too, that about 80% of wars actually start because of differences in religion. However, like Albert also showed earlier, how can we actually resolve most of these conflicts? We just have to sit together and discuss objectively, comparing scriptures and actually seeing our similarities, not our differences. And then I would say probably the initiative that most organizations are able to really partner in, it is through the peace education. And so this is kind of like the gift that HWPL has been able to offer the most to other organizations. Through the MOU, we were able to collaborate together to come to an agreement. We can teach teachers the peace education. We can also provide lecturers to go and teach the peace education to organizations. But this is how different organizations can come together within the initiatives of HWPL. However, the work of peace is limitless. So whether it's just promoting an event, whether it's hosting a special kind of event like a concert or anything of that sort, they've actually been peace concerts, for example, done in the Philippines branches, and as I mentioned earlier, Atlanta as well. And so through the MOU and MOA, we're able to support each other, promote each other's events, invite each other to each other's events, offer platforms to communicate and share our messages. And these are the things that organizations can do. The route to do it all is the same. Contact us. Contact us. So there's the email and the phone number. And actually, Albert is the person, the representative, whom we will be able to coordinate with regarding how to work together and how to collaborate together. And even right now, there is this unique case, as mentioned earlier, with our chairman and the unfortunate decision to detain him too. So through this too is another way to work together. Right now, globally, we're seeing more and more articles starting to seep out of how even other leaders in different countries are starting to speak out against this. And so this could also be a way we can start to work together too, because we're trying to connect to other organizations and other leaders as well, to gather support, to also raise our voices for an instrumental peace instrument and advocate in our time today. And so this is how we can help to summarize MOUs and MOAs, or through signing the petition, or even giving statements of support towards the Chairman Lee's release from the detention center. These are the ways right now that HWPL is able to garner support.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we are looking forward to having more organizations join in this effort. And we want them to get their members to sign petitions to urge the government of South Korea to release Chairman Man-Hee Lee from detention. And we believe that if they see the voices coming from around the world, they will see that he does in fact have global support. And just from a PR perspective, you don't want other nations looking badly at you if people are watching what you're doing to a senior citizen who is having such a powerful impact in the world in a positive way. So I certainly am grateful that you all have joined us today. So Albert, they can reach out to you at this number and request perhaps you to come bring petitions, maybe to their organization meeting, the church session, and get them signed and get them forwarded so that we can enhance this effort.
Yes, of course they can. Yeah, just leave a name and a number, callback number, and we'll be able to also be in touch with you. But any and all help that you can provide will definitely be appreciated at this time. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing us this time to even be on this channel. Thank you.
Yes. Well, we're grateful that you all were able to give us that insight about what's happening. And Anna Barnes joins and says, how is Chicago doing as far as peace goes? Or is this just more platitudes? Well, I think that's a good question, because Anna wants to know, ancient Rome fell due to barbarian citizenship. We can't have peace and multicultural at the same time. Yes, well, that is something that HWPL has been working on. So many people hear about violence in Chicago, and they're believing that this is a place that we can't have peace. But HWPL has been gathering, as you said, you've got the peace walks and so forth, youth activities. So when is the next activity, before we go, when's the next activity in Chicago that's happening for those who are here in this city that's getting such a bad rap for, especially with its young people? What's the next activity that we'd like to make them aware of here in the city?
Yeah, so if you're interested in checking us out, our next event will be on the 25th of July. That's a Saturday at 6 p.m. We're actually going to host another religious dialogue. So hoping if you are interested in seeing what we got to offer and actually being able to see what we are doing actively, and that'll be a good chance to come out and visit us. Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic. We'll make that happen in terms of keeping you informed. And of course, our on-air daily news, you can reach onair.dailynews.com. On the international page, we keep you abreast of what's happening with HWPL. So, and we'll be on tonight at the On-Air Daily News Hour to give you some updates of some good news happening in your neck of the woods and all around the world, so that you can be encouraged and know that we are evolving And as our sister says, we are ascending and we are creating world peace. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks to all who have chimed in and given us some insight. And Anna Bourne says, thanks for taking my comments. God bless you all. And God bless you all. And thank you so much for joining us. And of course, come on back tonight for the on-air daily news hour and join us tomorrow morning for Master Force with Mushem Sut. And until that time, we urge you all to continue to shine your light. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jareth. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.